Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Absurd Arguments. My name is Matthew. I'm here with my good friend Nathan. And Nathan, it is time to talk about things in an argumentative fashion, is it not?
It is. That's what we do. It's an honest job. Or a dishonest job, depending on which side we're on.
Well, we've never lied on this podcast once. So
never. I would never lie.
No, there's not a chance. But Nathan, we are now in different states.
Yeah. I'm in a state of euphoria, of happiness, and you're in a state of pain,
sadness, suffering, sadness.
Right. No, I think you're in Texas and I'm in Georgia right now.
That's correct. Although I haven't told you where I currently am, so I could be somewhere else.
But with context clues, I'm pretty darn sure you're still in Texas right now.
I mean, sure, that could be a possibility.
I think it's the most likely scenario. I think you're telling stories right now, Matthew.
Oh, why would you say something like that?
As a segue into for no reason. Hey, that reminds me. Our episode today is going to be on storytelling, and we're gonna try something new, and but before that, storytelling is very good, and I'm gonna give you 5 things about storytelling, and I want you to blind rank these.
Okay.
And we'll see what your ranking looks like.
Now, before we do this, you already have your ranking, correct? Since you're the one that came up with this list.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It definitely is not something off the top of my head.
You're not lying to me because we don't lie on this podcast, right?
We don't. We never do. We never do.
Okay.
So, the first thing, storytelling. How would you rank a old countryman telling a group of tourists about the scary cave that's nearby? Out of 5, 1 through 5.
Probably a 3.
Okay.
Because I don't really know any story that has that I've ever read, at least.
Well, no, so we're talking about storytelling. It's not the story itself. Telling the story. Okay, so this is an old man. There's tourists. The thing of this is some rural area, and he's telling them, "Hey, that cave. Stay away from that cave."
Okay, that makes more sense. I would probably then put it as a 4 then.
4. Okay.
Yeah, because he is going to mix a lot of fact and myth, legend, whatever into it. So you're not really going to know what's true and what's kind of been, overplayed over the last few years. So I put it as a 4.
Okay, so old man and tourist is 4. Okay, that's good. All right, my next one, is as a kid reading out loud a phonics book.
5.
5.
I can't. All right, so these other ones better be good.
So phonics stories are not your favorite.
Well, I mean, Dick and Jane can only do so many things to where it becomes so uninteresting, to where they ride a bike, they play with the dog, they kick a ball. I don't... that's so low, and I'm no longer a child, so...
Yeah,
5.
No, that makes sense. Okay. Well, now this one might be close to number 4 for you, and I'm sorry, but
okay.
you're on a camping trip around a campfire late at night, and you're telling each other scary stories, you and your friends or family or whatever.
Okay,
what would you rank that?
This one's interesting because, I mean, we all know this. Some people are they're very good at telling stories. Like, that's just one way that God made them, is they gave them such great creativity. And then other times, they're middle school boys. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to get a good story out of a middle school boy. So I'm going to have to... these others better be, like, great. So this is 3.
Campfire stories at number 3. I'm writing it down right now.
Okay.
So my next story is, my next storytelling thing is when your parents are reading a story to you right before bedtime.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, but you are also 30 years old.
2.
No, I'm kidding. It could be in a year. 2?
A 2, because this last one has to be better.
No, I'm gonna make it bad on purpose now. No, I'm kidding.
Please don't. All right, so what is my best way to tell a story then?
Your best way to tell a story is when you're when you're at your grandparents' house and your parents are like, "Oh, I'll be back," and your grandpa tells a very long-winded story and forgets key details halfway through, and your grandmother is inserting them, for him, and then they kind of argue about it later.
All right, that actually is one. I love that so much.
Isn't it fun? I
it's
like
so
that too.
good.
I miss that a lot.
Well, The good thing is, if you read a cozy mystery, you can get that in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, like that's probably my favorite thing. Especially like when it's not my grandparents and I'm just at some church event and I am trying to find a seat and there's one with a couple old couples that are at this table. And I just walk up, I go, "Oh, is the seat taken?" They're like, "Oh, no, go ahead." And so I start, talking to him, asking him little questions. And then, I talk about how, so where have you worked? It's like, "Oh, I worked with, fill in the blank company. And I used to travel all around the country. We moved everywhere." And then they start talking about where they've lived. And then it's just like, "No, Harold, we lived in Colorado Springs before Denver." And just like, "No,
I like that."
No, we were in Orlando and then went to Denver and then went to Colorado Springs. And they're just kind of like they stop the story and they're just like kind of like, "No, this we didn't, because that's when Sally and Susie went over to England for a bit." And he's like, "No, that was when." It's so great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
So that's a pretty good ranking. So you've ranked phonics stories in last. Mm-hmm. Old man and talking to tourists about the creepy cave is a number 4.
Yep.
Number 3 is campfire stories. Number 2 is your parents reading at bedtime. And number 1 is when your grandparents tell a long-winded story and the other one's constantly interrupting to correct them on details.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, I would change a little bit. Campfire stories would probably be last for me. I just want to enjoy the flames and staring at the fire.
The fire and the flames.
Yeah. Number 4 would be phonics stories. Really liked them a lot in the past. Not a huge fan now. Number 3 would definitely be the old man talking to tourists. That is something so cool about that, especially when it's just, just out of nowhere. That's the best. And then let's see, grandparents arguing in a long-winded story would be number 2. And then parents reading at bedtime would be number 1 for me. So
that's very nice.
But Matthew, this leads us to what we're really going to do today.
Yes, we are now your 2 dads reading you a bedtime story.
No, Matthew. Stop giving the fanfic writers ammunition.
What fanfic writers?
They're always out there. They're hidden around every corner.
Yeah.
Now, so did you ever, when you were a kid, did you ever read those choose your own adventure stories?
I did. We had one about the Disney's Jungle Book, like the animated one in movie, and so they had like a choose your own adventure where it's like, I specifically remember there's this one choice you can make, and it goes turn to page, whatever, and it's like Mowgli, like fighting a river, looking like he's drowning.
Yeah, some of these always ended badly. Like, it always ended in a death.
Like, so awful. Like, you don't have to. You could have done literally anything else of just like, oh, Mowgli got lost in the river and had to go back home. Like, that's a nice way to do it. No, Disney does a great job of, it builds up this thing, all of a sudden takes a super dark turn, and it's like, if you don't do this now, everybody will die. And you're like, this movie's for children.
See,
like Meet the Robinsons. Meet the Robinsons, when I first saw this movie, I legit thought I was watching another movie at the end. Whenever the hat took over everything.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck is going on?
I mean, for traumatizing kids films, The Brave Little Toaster is my favorite.
Oh, dude, that one was terrible.
That's awful.
I don't think I ever finished it because I was so freaked out.
It's such a good movie. Anyway, we're getting off track. Yeah. Look, the thing is, I didn't really like them a ton because I would get frustrated too. I'd be like, man, I made the wrong choice. I have to go back. I still made the wrong choice. I need to go all the way back. But I found a website called chooseyourstory.com where users can post and other people can review their own choose your own adventure stories. Now, some of them are extremely lengthy or seem lengthy, and there's all sorts. There's even fan fiction ones. So, like, we won't play this one, but there's one based on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, even one on Kitchen Nightmares, the Gordon Ramsay one. But we found a couple that we're going to try, and we'll do a fantasy style one first, and then we've got another one that should be a fun little surprise, and we'll see how it goes. And so Matthew and I we'll take turns reading it, and then we will argue over the choices. How does that sound, Matthew?
You know what? It sounds like a plan to me. So without further ado, let us go ahead and cue the music.
Our first story is a story called Sir Osis. It's a fantasy story game by Cricket. It was the number 16th most popular story in 2019 for the site. So it's about a time in the life of a knight named Sir Osis, and there's a pony too. So we're going to see how it goes. All right. So if you just want to click on play it, and I guess I'll read the first page and then we'll talk about our choices.
Okay.
And then go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. The first page. The thrush and the castle alike welcomed the morning. It was one of those rare and precious days of spring, with neither rain nor snow, insect pests nor incessant clamor of a migratory flock, biting frost nor unbearable heat. No, it was none of these things. It was a thing of beauty and a sight to behold, and as usual, Sir Osis of the Liver hated it anyway. When most laborers had already been working for several hours, Sir Osis was just rolling out of his bed. As he spent the next hour eating breakfast and nursing his head in silence, he reflected on what he could do that day He could go around the village and watch for criminals, old ladies whose cats insisted upon climbing trees they had no intention of descending, and such. Or he could stay home and train or take care of some business, or perhaps lie in bed some more. So what do we want to do? Do we want to go to the village, or do we want Sir Osis to stay at home?
Let's see. So what I try to do in a thing like this is I want to figure out what would Sir Osis do. Instead of sitting and trying to play out what I would do in a story like this, I want to see what he would do. So my vote is to stay at home.
Ah, okay. It could be more entertaining for him to go to the village, but then again, he could train when he's at home.
But do you think he would rather stay at home and lie in bed or go out around the village?
It's more like what we would rather do. Because I think we'd like to stay at home. Yeah, I think he'd he might stay at home. I mean, it is a perfect day. You know. I'd rather enjoy it at home training or taking a little nap. So
all right, so we are going to stay at home.
Okay. You can read
this. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of words.
It is.
All right.
Okay.
Let's give it a try.
We can take turns on the dialogue here.
That works.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. Stay at home. Yeah, there was no way he was going to go to the village that day. He had so many important things to take care of, like how he couldn't open his eyes longer than 3 seconds. There was only one thing to fix that. He brought his legs back up into the bed and closed his eyes again. When he woke up again, he is soaked with sweat under the blankets and the tray of food that had been left near the door. Still not feeling like leaving his room. He peed out of the narrow. He peed out of the narrow. I am. He peed out of the narrow, out of his narrow window. Congratulated himself on getting most of it outside, and sat down to eat his breakfast. After eating, writing a letter, and giving some orders to the servants, he went outside. His steed, a white creature around 10 hands, was saddled and awaiting him. Named Alphonse, he had been a gift from Queen Justiana. It bore a resemblance to a horse in the sense that it was an equine. Okay. Together, they went out to an empty pasture. The ground was damp yet, but there was enough grass that what mud was there was not enough to cause any problems. About 2/3 of the way, the far end of the pasture was a weighted bag on a beam. The beam was set up for practice with a spear, and if struck incorrectly, would swivel and send the bag to strike the assailant. Until the sun started to lower in the sky after the noon, Sir Osis trained without interruption. Then a rider came up to the pasture before stopping at the gate. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to, Sir Odin of the Liver?
It is Sir Osis you are speaking to.
I've a message from Queen Justinia to all unoccupied knights in the general vicinity, my lord. There is thought to be a beast lying in a nearby portion of Her Majesty's forest, and several people have gone missing within the past month. More than the usual, I mean.
So I am to be on a rescue mission? Sir Osis exclaimed.
No, sir. More of an extermination, if you will. Her Majesty wants who or whatever is responsible for these disappearances neutralized. Killed, if you will.
I am not entirely certain that I am the correct man for this. Perhaps Sir Loin might be a better fit. Fantastic name.
He's already searching in his area. It's necessary, imperative, one may say, that whatever this is to be stopped. Her Majesty's orders, sir.
Well, there went any hope of staying at home all day. All he could do was go out and hope that word reached him of the situation being resolved before he had spent the whole day out there. Within half an hour, he was in the forest fighting his way through brambles. He got to thinking, was there a reason whatever he was looking for would be voluntarily putting itself through this? Not really. Then he made the decision to go back and search along the river instead. Now, that was a far more pleasant walk, and he could see much farther too. For some time, he rode along the riverbank. Then he got to thinking again. This is a spot he could see up ahead, and looked like a spot where he could fix the scar. I added so many words in that sentence. This spot looked like he could see up ahead. Hold on. He could see up ahead looked like... Okay. The spot he could see up ahead looked like a spot where he would like if he... This is really eating my lunch, dude. I can't read this sentence.
Bro.
Is it me? Is it me?
Like half and half. This spot he could see up ahead looked like a spot he would like if he were some man-eating beast.
Okay. It's just funky. This spot he could see up ahead looked like a spot he would like if he were some man-eating beast. Perhaps he should stop there and wait a while, he figured. So, he did. As he sat by the river, something shiny caught his eye in the water. Perhaps it was some sort of treasure, he thought. To still be shiny like this, it could not have been there for long, unless it was gold, perhaps. Naturally, he got on his knees and peered into the water. The outline of the object danced and warped with the motion of the water. Then his examination was cut off by the appearance of a brown object smoothly gliding through the water current. Thinking it was a beaver, strange thing to think, honestly. Thinking it was a beaver, he pulled back to see there was something very off about it. The beaver was swimming backwards? No, this beaver had a bill like a duck. Or perhaps this duck had a body resembling a beaver. Determined to find out, Sir Osus prodded with his sword in the hopes of getting it to turn over. It did not. It lunged out of the water onto his face. Stunned, Sir Osus dropped his sword and rolled over on top of it. Then the beaver hit Sir Osus with his hind quarters, and Sir Osus felt the excruciating pain go through himself. All he could do was lie on his back and scream while the beaver took one last glance at him before slipping back into the water to resume his journey. The sun was gone and the moon was high before Sir Osus was able to pull himself up again. Wow, what a weakling. Every move he made was difficult, and he cursed the beaver fae that had done this to him. However, he managed to gather some wood and build a fire to warm himself from lying on the cool ground for so long. As he sat there, shivering, he dwelt on his available options. He could turn back and go home, or he can continue on his journey. He was in need of some medical attention and perhaps that of a priest, but those were things he might be able to find if he stopped in another nearby village. Whatever he decided would have to wait until morning, but it was good to have an idea of things now. Oof, that was a lot. So
that was brutal.
Yes. So a quick recap. He is training. Actually, he stays in bed for far too long, and then he gets up, pees out of the window.
You're still a coward. He did not just pee out of the window.
He did not, but I am a good Christian boy.
It's not a bad word.
After he ate his breakfast that had probably been sitting there for a little too long, he went to go train, and then a messenger named Alphonse rode up and said, "There's a creature."
No. No, his horse was named Alphonse.
Oh, that's right. His horse was named Alphon. That was a horse that looked like a horse.
Yeah, the messenger had no name.
Okay, so the messenger comes up and tells him there is a beast in the nearby forest that he needs to go check his part of the woods. And so begrudgingly, Sir Osis gets up, fights a beaver, which is actually a platypus. I could only assume that is the evil creature that the messenger was talking about.
Yeah.
Now he is nursing his injuries, has to sleep because he was worn out so badly by fighting this platypus. He could either go home or continue on his journey towards the next village.
Well, it seems like he was injured by the beast.
Indeed.
So I think he should go to the next village to get medical attention.
I think so too. I think that if he goes home, it's not going to end well for him. And so I think he has a little bit of sense.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. Okay.
To the next village. Why is this so much shorter?
I don't know. Okay. Well, this is it. The end of the game. Okay. This will be the last one. All right. If he remembered correctly, the next village was not too far from here. There was no point in turning back when he would likely only have to go out again. And he wasn't about to explain to the people he had to see every day that the reason he was like this was an overgrown muskrat. It took a while, but Sir Osis managed to fall asleep, and when morning came, he found Alphonse and struggled for a while to get him back to the camp. Then he looked longingly at the river. If he had just had some water, he would surely feel much better. But he was apprehensive about actually drinking anyway. The way things were going, he figured some pike heron hybrid might come and eat his ear as he stooped to collect the water in his hands to lap up. However, by the time he was about to leave, the fear of passing out in the forest a quarter mile from a water source was stronger than that of any cursed animal. Once he was refreshed, they set off. It was just a few hours before he was back to the highway. When he got there, he was not sure which direction he was supposed to go. The area was hilly, so he climbed atop a high one near the road and looked out. In the distance, he could see buildings, so that was the direction he went. The trip there was uneventful, and when he got there, he realized it was a much smaller settlement than he had hoped. After some roundabouts with one of the 5 people in the village between the ages of 10 and 90.
Okay, that's a very vast number.
He determined that the larger village was just short distance, unless that was Jacob's Aunt Millie's. Because from the sounds of the directions that had to be repeated multiple times, it could have been Jacob's Aunt Millie's. It was not Jacob's Aunt Millie's. It was Jacob's Aunt Mary's.
Oh.
Yeah, but Mary was a very nice woman, however, and she took good care of Sir Osis. She took such good care that Sir Osis became very fond of her indeed. That, combined with the Florence Nightingale effect, led to them marrying, and Ian becoming stepfather to her 7 young children.
All of the ages 10 to 90.
Oh, beautiful blonde and emergency backup to take on the family name. That trip wasn't such a bad deal after all.
Let's go. So
we got a good ending.
Is it a good ending?
Yeah. He married a nurse.
Dang.
Oh, wait, we're supposed to do a plot synopsis? I think he made a camp. And then he went to the next village and got really and made it to a settlement, and they had this like stupid who's on first thing going on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Between Jacob Aunt Millie's or Jacob's Aunt Mary's. And then he finally made it to Mary's hospital. And she took care of him and he married her. Now he's stepfather to 7 young kids.
Dang.
Good for him, honestly.
Hey, and it said she was beautiful, so...
Oh, and blonde.
And blonde. So, 7 young kids is a bit of an interesting situation to be walking into, but a beautiful blonde maiden is pretty nice.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, give me a second.
Okay.
It's dinner time, Matthew.
It's dinner time, Nathan. All right, so that was pretty nice. That
was nice. We got a wholesome one. That's good.
Yeah. I guess we could have gotten much worse.
We could have. And see, there are a lot of grim, dark fantasy stories on here. But I didn't want to risk it. So this one ended really well. Like, nobody died. Not even the platypus or muskrat or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's pretty great.
And he's able to carry on the bloodline.
Taking care of seven kids.
Yeah, unlike a Chris Redfield.
Yeah, poor Chris. Well, I mean, now look, the second story I lined up, Matthew, which you should have access to.
Yes.
I was worried we were going to get to some death scene and we needed to lift our spirits, but I guess this will just be our most wholesome episode ever.
It's going to be quite nice.
Yeah, because this story is called Wholesome Dog's Birthday Adventure.
Yes, and the Wholesome Dog has one of the dumbest birthday hats on. The little PNG image they provided is so...
Images are great.
It's a dumb-looking dog.
He's a fluffy white dog with one of those cardboard hats on his head. And the synopsis says, "Oh no, Wholesome Dog overslept and is late to his own birthday party. Help Wholesome Dog get to the party his friends are throwing before it's too late."
Oh my gosh. All right. So
yeah. So we want to give this a try.
So just before we hit it, the very top comment I see is, as I was reading this, the term weaponized cuteness came to mind.
Very true.
I don't know if I'm as excited to do this anymore.
Yeah. Oh, and to properly credit it before we get started, this is a family-friendly story game by Sherbet.
Yes. So, no death.
No deaths.
No way.
It's a maturity level 1 out of 8.
All right, so click on it and tell me what you see.
It's a text from Mechagodzilla. And he says, "Where are you? Come to birthday party, rawr."
And then Wholesome Dog just sends a picture of himself. And there's only one choice. It says late.
Okay,
all right, so we click on it.
Or you got it.
Click on it. All right, so here it is, late. Oh dear! It seems that Wholesome Dog overslept. Poor guy stayed up just a bit too late visiting sick kids for the Make-A-Wish Foundation and donating money to local charities, and completely forgot that today is his birthday. Wholesome Dog's friends are waiting for him at the treehouse. If he doesn't want to miss the rest of the party, he'll have to be quick. Wholesome Dog runs out of the door, but only after brushing his teeth, as it would be bad to show up to a friendly gathering with bad oral hygiene, even if he is in a rush. He finds himself on the sidewalk, ready to hurry into the woods, where a birthday adventure surely awaits him. And again, there's a picture of Wholesome Dog with now a clip art pic of a nightcap on him.
Yeah. And just imagine the fluffiest white dog you can think of, and that's Wholesome Dog. The mouth is slightly open.
Anyways, there's only one option: to the woods. So let's click on
woods. Okay. Hoping his friends will be understanding, Wholesome Dog disappears into the woods, going as fast as his little legs will take him. In the company of the crispy, crinkling leaves beneath his feet, he begins to close the distance between himself and the treehouse. For a moment, it appears that Wholesome Dog will get there without incident, until suddenly, Wholesome Dog is forced to come to a halt as something appears directly in front of him. Oh no, it's none other than the dastardly blind forest sorcerer.
What?
Ah, there's my Bungus Fungus Cotton, the sorcerer exclaims, picking up Wholesome Dog, who struggles to get free. And I was worried I'd accidentally used it all up in last week's stew.
Oh, okay. All right, I got it now. So, at first, I thought that he had used a Wholesome Dog in his stew last week. But no, it's the cotton.
Got confused. Yeah, he thought Wholesome Dog was Bungus Fungus Cotton.
Indeed.
Because Wholesome Dog is very fluffy.
Yes. And we have a picture here of Wholesome Dog, the white ball of fluff with leaves on his head. And again, there's only one option to the sorcerer's lair.
Don't worry. The next part, there's two options.
Oh, let's go to the sorcerer's lair. Regrettably, Wholesome Dog finds himself taken to the lair of the dastardly blind forest sorcerer, who also happens to really, really like making stew. And it seems that he's even using things with nutritional value this time. Good for him. Unfortunately, Wholesome Dog has been mistakenly added to the cauldron as well.
Oh no.
The water is still as cool as the cucumbers floating around it. But our hero will have to act fast before he has a chance to heat up. This will be my greatest stew yet, and I didn't even have to put beetles in it, the sorcerer says, waggling his fingers at the cauldron to magically begin the cooking process.
Matthew, no knock against your voices, but for continuity's sake, didn't sound accurate.
All right, so how did you say it then?
I don't remember. You'll have to listen back and re-record. No, I'm kidding. He just sounded more evil. I think it's an evil blind sorcerer, but not too evil. You may want to put some sauce into it, but it's up to you.
All right, let me try that again. This will be my greatest stew yet, and I didn't have to put beetles in it. Is that better?
The laugh was a good. Oh yeah, the laugh was a great touch. Okay,
good.
But yeah, and like you were saying, Wholesome Dog has a carrot on his head now.
Yes, he does. So should he drink the stew or tip the cauldron over?
Now, Matthew, I want to suggest something kind of controversial.
All right. Okay.
What if you pick one option and I pick the other?
I mean, that kind of goes against the whole thing.
I know it should. I'm just there it is. There's just that idea of me fearing failure. I think he'll still make it to his birthday party.
Nathan, this has a maturity rating of 1 out of 8, which means no matter what, Wholesome Dog is gonna be okay.
He's not gonna die, you promise.
I can't promise that, but I can assume that he's not gonna die.
I assume so too. Okay. All right, we'll pick one.
I think he should drink the stew.
Honestly, I think so too. That'd be pretty great.
All right, drink the stew, Nathan.
Okay. That's my sound effect for drinking the stew.
I never want to hear that sound effect ever again.
Oh, you're the editor. Good luck. Obviously, the only way to bring Wholesome Dog's presence to the sorcerer's attention is for Wholesome Dog to drink the stew. Always a quick thinker, he begins to lap up as much of the vegetable-filled broth as possible, feeling as the liquid gradually becomes warmer and warmer around him. Being a dog, our hero has little trouble putting away a large amount of food that isn't his in a very short period of time.
Facts.
Soon, the dastardly blind forest sorcerer dips his ladle into the stew to taste it in its lukewarm state, only to find that half of his dinner is completely gone. What kind of sorcery is this? I'm the sorcerer around here.
He has 3 voices.
I know it's different from the first time I did it. He bellows, reaching into the pot and lifting out Wholesome Dog, sniffing the large, fluffy, spheric pup. Ew, wet dog smell. Hold on. This is no Bungus Fungus Cotton. It's Wholesome Dog. Just as the sorcerer begins to cast a spell on our hero as revenge for his stew being ruined, Wholesome Dog springs forward and takes his magical sorcery hat for himself. Arr! Curse you, Wholesome Dog. I can't magic without my hat. You ruined my dinner.
So, of course, we have Wholesome Dog with the magic hat on.
He's very cute. Do we want to escape the lair with magic? Or do we want to conjure a birthday cake? Here's my thinking. He did eat all of the stew.
Yes, but is he going to leave the birthday cake?
Ooh. Well, I think there's only one way. I mean, I would assume it's Wholesome Dog.
It is Wholesome Dog.
I think he would do the most wholesome thing, which would be leaving the birthday cake for the...
I was about to say leaving and escaping the lair.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Let's... I think he'd conjure a birthday cake.
All right, conjure a birthday cake. Here we go. Using the power of the magical hat, Wholesome Dog pushes the cauldron of stew away from the center of the lair, replacing it with a towering birthday cake. 3 tall layers of delicious goodness, complete with a handful of lit candles on top. What's that I smell? Birthday festivities in my lair, give him a 5th voice. The dastardly blind forest sorcerer demands. It's not my birthday, Wholesome Dog. What are you saying? Or could it be, is today your birthday? Wholesome Dog barks good-naturedly at the sorcerer, who gasps at the new development. Wholesome Dog, you created a birthday cake because you want to celebrate your birthday with me. Is that it? I can't believe this. Well, if that's the case, or the cake, I have no choice but to postpone my stew. And so, rather than making it to the party, Wholesome Dog decides that it maybe would be a bit more rewarding to spend the occasion with someone who could clearly use a friend and a good meal. And from now on, this someone will be known as Wholesome Dog's dastardly blind forest friend. And this is the magical ending.
Yeah, and for this one, we get more images. We still have Wholesome Dog and his cool sorcerer's hat, but he's to the right, and there's a giant cake in the middle, and then the blind sorcerer, who's just a magic robe with a giant jack-o'-lantern on top of it, is standing there smiling.
Oh,
man,
nice.
This was heartwarming, dude.
That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great end. Now, here's the question: do we want to go and see if he leaves and goes to his birthday party?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go back. We'll go back one. We shouldn't, but we should.
Okay. So,
or we could leave it for the listeners to discover.
Oh, what do you want to do?
Oh, man, that's our next choice. Yeah, let's go back. All right.
Do we drink the stew or tip the cauldron over?
Oh, I thought we were going to escape the lair with magic. We were going to go to that.
We could, or do we want to just go back to the very beginning of him in the lair?
We could do that. Where he tips the cauldron over?
All right, tip the cauldron over.
Wholesome Dog is much too small and round to leap from the cauldron, So the next best thing is to tip the whole thing over. Sure, it means a little bit of food waste, but Wholesome Dog knows it's always important to put safety first and assorted vegetables second. You can always donate to a food bank later.
Very true.
Pressing against the side of the heating pot with all his might, Wholesome Dog is able to get it to fall off of the edge of the stump it's situated on. Broth splashes throughout the entire room, much to the dismay of the dastardly blind forest sorcerer.
Give him a new voice.
Who's there? What have you done to my stew? No! Stew everywhere! It's going to attract terrible stew gremlins. Not again!
Are you
The
freaking
sorcerer-
Billy Crystal from The Princess Bride? He's only mostly dead.
Hey, I should have leaned more into that.
Oh my gosh.
The sorcerer vanishes, leaving Wholesome Dog on his own. Our hero doesn't remain alone for long, however, as the sound of marching just beyond the entrance door to the lair fills his ears. Still.
Oh no.
In this one, we have a picture. Now, keep in mind, earlier, Wholesome Dog was big enough to fit in the cauldron, but now the picture is the cauldron is small and fits on top of his head.
Yes, because we have to do something with the cauldron.
Yeah, and we have no choice. We have to look at the terrible stew goblins.
All right, the terrible stew gremlins.
Gremlins, my bad.
Soon, the terrible stew gremlins kick the door down and march into the lair, attracted by the smell of stew that is now so deeply into the wooden floor. The gremlins seem elated by the abundance of vegetables strewn about the room, even though they themselves seems to be taters of some kind. Stew, 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 they continue to chant in unison before the leading gremlin notices the cauldron atop Wholesome Dog's head. Stew! Spilled? Spilled stew? The Potato Man says, enraged. The three of them, well, there's three now, specifically, begin to run all around the lair, knocking things over, tearing up papers, spilling acid all over the floor, and just causing property damage aplenty. They don't seem to realize this isn't Wholesome Dog's house. If there's no stew for we, you shall answer our questions 3. The gremlins shout at Wholesome Dog after they've grown satisfied with their handiwork. The sorcerer's lair now completely trashed, in addition to permanently smelling like stew. So now we have Wholesome Dog with the cauldron on his head with 3 potatoes that have stick figure legs and arms drawn, and they have smiley faces with very angry eyebrows.
Yeah. So now we have 2 options here. We can answer their 3 questions, or we just say, no way.
I think Wholesome Dog needs to get out of there.
No, I think you would answer the questions. Wholesome Dog's too wholesome.
Okay.
I
You're right. You're right.
I think you would. Okay.
He's trying to make friends. Okay.
Let's see. Okay. All right, Wholesome Dog, if that is your real name, question number 1. What does the B in BLT stand for? And we can choose bacon, bread, birria, or birthday.
I don't really want to say birthday.
Kind of too. Okay. All right. We can save the game. I'm going to save it real quick.
Oh, wait, you can.
I have to be logged in.
All right. So, all right. I want to say birthday, but I think he's just going to answer it truthfully. So he says bacon.
He does say bacon. Interesting answer. On to the next question then. What came first, the potato or the peel? So we can choose potato, peel, cheese and bacon bits and butter and sour cream, or birthday. Hmm.
Again, I would just want to pick birthday, but
I kind of for this one, let's pick birthday.
All right, birthday.
All right, wholesome dog. This is our final question, and it's going to be the hardest one of them all. What very important holiday is celebrated on August 19th? And the options are Potato Day, Tomato Day, Stew Day, or Birthday.
Oh, right. Well, there's only one real answer because I don't know what special day is August 19th, so it's got to be birthday.
Okay, we'll do birthday.
All right, wholesome dog, that's the end of the quiz. Now we'll tally up your score and get back to you with the results. The gremlin trio huddles together and begins talking among themselves, occasionally glancing over to Wholesome Dog, the stink guy. And the results are irrelevant. Your quiz answers are meaningless to us stew lovers. We didn't come here to host, we came for stew. And you've given us none. And no, this isn't because the three of us don't know the answers to our own questions. Oh, so we could have picked birthday anyways.
Dang it, we could have done birthday for all of them. Missed opportunity.
Dang. So if you think that, well, you're just wrong. Get him, boys. The gremlins begin to circle Wholesome Dog. One of them armed with a microphone and the others armed with stew deprivation rage. Just when it looks like the battle will ensue, the rumbling sound of the entire building being lifted from its foundation causes the immediate retreat of the stew gremlins. I'm not getting mashed again! One of them shrieks as he flees. Sorry, one of them shrieks. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Scared the peel right off him, am I right?
Darn right.
I'm actually pretty sure you got scalloped, another gremlin corrects him. If he was scalloped, he would have been absolutely cut up. But anyways. The savior is none other than Wholesome Dog's good friend Mechagodzilla, also accompanied by other Wholesome Dog and Columbus Capybara. Okay. Huzzah! They grew worried and came looking for Wholesome Dog when he took so long to show up, and they brought the birthday cake with them. And so, with Wholesome Dog and all his friends finally reunited, the birthday celebration can take place. And despite it taking place in a pile of literal debris, it's the best birthday, perhaps in all of history. And this is the true ending.
The true ending.
Wow.
So the pictures here, it has confetti. Wholesome Dog is in the top right corner. In the middle is the birthday cake. In the top left corner is Mechagodzilla. In the bottom left corner is other Wholesome Dog, which is just a really black, fluffy dog.
I'm pretty sure that's a Pomeranian.
Sure. And then to the bottom right is Columbus Capybara. We saved his birthday, Matthew. I'm so glad we went back.
Yeah, it's two good endings.
Man. Gosh, that's a really wholesome story.
So either way, he's still celebrating with friends, and that's what really matters.
Well, and I think in the magical ending, he was the most wholesome because he was like, you know what? I'll make a cake and share it with you. But in this ending, I think, hey, something wholesome needed to happen to Wholesome Dog.
Yeah. Well, what an adventure we went on. You had Cirrhosis, who was fighting against a platypus and lost.
Yeah.
And then you had Wholesome Dog fighting against potatoes by answering questions that were irrelevant.
Well, and Matthew, I did look it up because you did set some alarm bells off for me when earlier you said cirrhosis. That's gotta be something, a play on words. And so I did Google it during one of your readings, and cirrhosis of the liver is what they call them at the beginning. Apparently that's when your liver gets really inflamed.
Dang.
So yeah, it was a play on words. You were
knew
right.
it.
But Well, boys and girls, we hope you enjoy this little Choose Your Adventure story time with us. Indeed. I guess we should cue that music, shouldn't we, Matthew?
I believe we should. And this is the kind of music that's going to be heavy metal. Now that everyone's tucked into the bed.
Yeah.
In their,
it's like, oops, I played AC/DC oops, I played Metallica's Enter Sandman. Thought it was an actual lullaby. My bad. My bad, Diane. Diane, I apologized. I'm sorry, Diane.
I mean, they do have the "Now I lay me down to sleep" prayer in the middle of the song, so easily mistaken.
It's like, sorry, Diane, I'm not fast forwarding. We're listening to the whole thing till we get to the lullaby.
Well, this is the part of the episode where we talk about ways that you can find us elsewhere on the many websites of the interwebs, but we only have a select few. You can find us in our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Threads for the memes, and on YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, hi YouTube.
Hello.
But we also have something else that they can reach out to us with.
Yeah, we do. Is it our email?
Every time I set it up, I do the same setup every single time that I do it, and you never catch the cue. Do I have to drive out to Georgia and just go, hey, this is the time?
Okay. Let's try again, Matthew. I'll get it this time, I promise.
All right, here we go. And there's also another way that the people can contact us, right?
This is it, right? You want me to go? You want me to go now? This is the one, Matthew? Okay. We have an email, Matthew. They can contact us at absurdargumentsforyou@gmail.com. That's absurdarguments, the letter 4, the number U @gmail.com.
He did it. He did it. Ladies and gentlemen, he did it. It took a little bit, but he got there. That's so good. Hopefully this positive reinforcement makes sure that next time he does it, he'll catch the cue. I doubt it, though.
At this time, it's out of spite. I'm sorry. At this point. Yeah.
Well, but Nathan, thank you for being a wonderful storyteller. And as we drift off to sleep in these hot, steamy, awful summer nights, do you have any final thoughts?
Thanks to Cricket and Sherbet for their stories. We had a lot of fun reading them and playing their Choose Your Story games. And we hope y'all have a sleepy night and you sleep well and tuck yourself in.
Yep. I guess me clapping and shouting yay and woo is not very getting ready for bed vibes, but you never know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for this episode of Absurd Arguments. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check us out on our social media and share this episode with your other cozy buddies so that they can get a good night's sleep tonight.
Good night. Goodbye.
Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, or else Metallica will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.